SAP Business One is widely accepted as one of the go-to ERP brands for small to mid-sized manufacturing companies. But even the best ERP system can be improved, and Boyum Cloud apps are a major improvement that will be of interest to any manufacturing company considering investing in SAP Business One. In SAP Business One, there are two standard types of user, a professional and a limited. Boyum Cloud apps extend that list to include modules tailor-made for the kind of roles we see in manufacturing. Those modules are grouped into three functional areas: produce, inspect, and build. In this video we take a look at produce. Produce replaces manual systems to streamline the monitoring of time and materials and reporting of finished products. There are two versions of produce, one for a manager and the other for an operator. Produce Manager allows you to plan and execute production orders and monitor progress. Produce Operator allows you to view production orders and register work done and materials used. In the following demonstration, my colleague Harry has entered a production order into SAP Business One. A manager has approved it and the order has been released. Harry will initially log in as an operator, then as a manager. The scenario includes a number of dashboards to illustrate the power of cloud apps as a reporting tool.
Hello one and all, and thank you for joining today's video, which is on Boyum Cloud. My name is Harry Proctor from here at Lake. So as I say, we've had a production order on SAP Business One added to the system, and our manager has approved that, and that has been released. So I'm going to go down into my shop floor, and as I say, this would be by a tablet, it could be by a terminal, and we can see our production orders that have been released or approved. So I'll log into my terminal. Most of the time we find it's tactile devices and so on that people have on the shop floor. So here we can see that we've got a number of operations. We have my operation, so this is something that has been started by myself and is progressing. This is for one of the stages of the Scandinavian wooden chair. I've chosen this as a kind of a product as it's quite generic, and we can all know exactly what the stages are for such a simple build. But do think to your own manufacturing processes and what root stages you might have within this as well. So we can also have things like instructions for production orders that can be included here. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and delve into this. So here we can see we have a single first stage for my Scandinavian wooden chair. We can see that we have a planned quantity of 10 and there's been 0 completed so far. You can see this has been running for half an hour and the due date is in the future. We can see that this is set to started and the color for that is yellow. Now this gives me a really nice outline into what I can see in terms of the resources that's required for this and also what we have in terms of our materials as well. We can have a partial stop to allow more work to be done with completed quantity making up part of the full planned quantity. So say the end of the day has come and it needs me to pick this up the next day. So as I say, these under my operations here means that they're assigned to me or I have some work that is underway already. I can start and stop this. So I can go ahead and start and stop this operation. If more work is required, this will turn blue as I will go for more work is required, and this will be a partial stoppage. But I'm finished with this operation and we will clear this. So I'm going to go ahead and go, I'm finished with this operation. I'm going to enter the completed quantity of 10. You can see here that we can actually manage scrap and byproducts, and that can be maintained here as well. So moving through, we can see now the quantity has come to 10, scrap is 0, and we've got the time monitored here as well. So here we can see any sort of time that's been used against this production order. Expected time is calculated and shown here, and we have no ability to change on this screen. As you can see, this is locked off, and that's because on the bill of materials this is set to backflush. If this is set to manual on the bill of materials, then the option to change this manually here is possible. So it's entirely how you'd like to have that set up. For this example, we obviously have that locked off and set to backflush, so it's calculated after the event. So in terms of materials usage then, so the system can suggest a batch. We can also split batch selection, and this can be managed here as well, should you wish. So here we can see we've got our used quantity, we have the stock quantity here as well, from batch number 824A, Now, if I had multiple batches here, I could select 10 from there, I could select 5 from there, and maybe 5 from another batch should I wish. So you've got a lot of kind of ability to change that should you wish. So we're happy that we've got everything that we need, and we're going to go ahead and move through. So here we can see that this is now an operation set to completed. We can see that this is 10 of 10, and the resource time is set to, as I say, backflush, and this will be booked automatically against it. We can see any sort of material differences here as well, should we wish. So expected material quantities used, so should there be a variance, then we will be able to see how much or how any lesser materials that we use throughout the production process. And we'll go ahead and finish. Fantastic. So the goods issue and receipt from production is all completed at this stage, and the production, at this stage of the production process. So within our Scandinavian wooden chair, I'm going to go ahead and I'll kick off this next one, start, and we'll let that run as a kind of a next stage. So from this screen, we can filter this by resource should we wish. So we can also search by a production order. We can search by any sort of resource or any sort of machine. So you can see we have a number of different kind of resources set against that. And there's a lot of customization available in here as well. You're able to just drag and drop should you wish. So it's a huge amount of customizability should you wish. So if the manager, let's say, if the manager has limited an operator or for me to only work on certain resources, then I will only see those within my list here of operations. So a very, very quick walkthrough of the operator there. You can see how fast it is and how well the workflow goes through to give that operator on the shop floor the ability to capture all crucial information. So from here, I'd like to move through to my Produce manager as well. Just connecting to the database there. So here my manager is greeted by a dashboard, and here we have a full overview of the shop floor. We can see the production orders that we have, that we've got 2 in progress at the moment, and we can see what we have, partial stops and also completed as well. Here we can see all of the resource time that we have setting up and against stops. So we can see that we had our machines going. Now we've got that other packaging route stage ahead. We can see that that's now under working, and you can see that Harry Proctor, me, the worker, is going as well today. So a really nice overview. We can see that we've had a number of total orders that are on time and not on time, and also priorities set against these should we wish. Obviously, we can see any staff who are currently working on any sort of production order. And along the left-hand side, we have a list of all of the modules within our system as well. So here we can see a full list of all of the production orders, should we wish. So we can see all of the production orders and the status of them in operating status as well. Now, something I really like here is that you can actually see from our Scandinavian wooden chair that we're looking at today, we can see each stage. So we can see that the internal build is completed and the packaging is in progress as well. We can see that this has progressed. And we can also see a number of different options for approving and unapproving any sort of production orders. So the ability to finalize once they're finished. And what that does is that actually closes the production order back in the main ERP system in SAP Business One. And as I say, within the multi-stage bill of materials, we can show what is completed and not completed there as well. So on these approvals and unapproved basically means that it's planned, and approved means that it is released. So operators will only see what is released. So upon approving this will then get pushed to the operator's terminal. The priorities are really nice here. This automatically calculates on what you've set up within the system. So what we can do is we can set this to kind of, effectively if there's a box around the arrow, this means that there's been a change manually. By clicking the arrow, this will automatically work out what this should be based on the criteria set. So we can set this to lower priority or indeed a higher priority should we wish. So a few options for you there as well. Again, the customization is really nice within the system, just to be able to drag and drop any of these columns across to see the key information that is important to you as well. So let's say you would like to release several production orders, but the materials might be running low. What we can do is we can actually select a production order, and have a look at a materials availability check as well. So what this does is this allows me to have a look and basically brings me a focused stock status report for that. So we see all that's included within this production order, what we have available, what's on order, what's planned, completed, and so on. So really, really nice quick overview for that. And here you can see that this is calculated based on a time. So this is live across all systems. So if we've got stock coming into the system, this will update into our Boyum Produce system as well immediately. So really, really nice kind of active way of picking up a report for you there. Within our transactions then, this is effectively an overview of all that's passed through our shop floor. So both for processed and unprocessed. So unprocessed will show me if there's been an error with the production order, For example, if something has fallen into negative stock. So to avoid this, we would use that material availability check, that stock status report we've just had a look at, and order raw stock items from here. And the manager can then go ahead and retry that processing. So just to show you what this looks like, I'm just going to go ahead and do a partial stop on this production order. So I'm back in the operator now, and we'll go for more work is required. So by having a look at that, coming back into my production order, we can now see that that's kind of once it's been completed. So let's say we've done 4 of the 10. Fly through this ever so quickly. And we'll go ahead and finish that. So coming back into my manager now, we can see my Wi-Fi's had a bit of a day today, so we'll be able to see this in just 2 seconds. And we can see that production order now for that Scandinavian wooden chair has now been created for that to be onto a partial stoppage. So you can see that that is now live across both systems. So this part completes rather than finishes that production order. And the operation status on the review screen will now indicate that is incomplete for this partial stop. So looking back to this production order on this manager screen, the blue dot will now show this partial stop as well as the completed and planned quantity. So within the operators, along the bottom here, what we're able to do now is have a look at all of the staff on our shop floor. So the manager can actually set up the shop floor employees. So let's have a look at Harry Proctor here. So we've got a bit of information around the kind of user. But what I really like here is that we can actually limit what they have access to work on and what their effectively selected resources are. So we have full control over all aspects of our shop floor. So from here, what we've done is we've taken a production order that's been put on from SAP Business One. We've had a look at how the produce operator would manage any sort of full stoppage or partial stoppage on any of their work, managing all sorts of kind of bits of data, should that be time, should that be materials, and making sure that that is live across the system. We've also had a look at our produce manager here. And as I say, it's effectively split into these 2 licenses. The manager has full transparency and visibility over the shop floor in managing priority levels and who's working on what specific production order. And as I say, the operators are effectively running the terminals. So from here, you manage the time spent on product projects and route stages, as well as materials that have been used, making sure that all stock levels are live within your SAP Business One system. And most importantly, no more paperwork.
Thank you for watching this short introduction to Boyum Cloud Produce. There is so much more to SAP Business One, and I recommend that you get in touch to have your questions answered. To take the next step, click on the chat button at the foot of this page, email us at info@lake.co.uk, or call now on 0113 273 7788. Thank you.